school pictures. And I feel the social pressure to get these done. And I'm leaving out a lot. Okay, because the day started with my ex texting me about, did you get the school picture form? Can you order me this? I'll order you that. It was like, and first of all, it was very weird. The day after we sat in the courthouse together, and now he's texting me about pictures, and I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for small talk. And, whenever things like this, these socially pressured financial burdens come on that are unnecessary, but yet leave you looking like you're a bad parent if you don't do it, like Christmas. That's my whole beef with Christmas. Culturally pressured financial burden. Or you have families, and I know I'm jumping around here, you have families that have to sign paperwork at school. They don't have to. It's a choice. They can sign up for Operation Santa Claus, where people in the community will drop off garbage bags full of gifts for you to wrap up for your kids so they can have a Christmas just like everybody else. That to me is insanity. Insanity. Why are we maintaining this level, this cultural practice that is so much pressure? Now we're like, it's unnecessary, first of all. It's just completely unnecessary. We're checking a cultural box that it's what I've discussed before and will discuss again at a later date. It's the mock instinct. Okay, this is what we do. This is just what we do, right? And we can't alter what we do. We celebrate Christmas by purchasing. It's like, go into debt, making this, it's just a bizarre holiday to me. And I'm losing my train of thought, but the school pictures are the same thing. Socially pressured financial burden on families that can't afford to buy school lunches, but yet they're expected to buy packages of photos for $34 each child. It's unnecessary. And I guess I can just opt out of it. I can. But I do feel the social pressure, especially from the ex, who is the first one to go against every rule and cultural norm, but yet will check all the boxes in certain realms. I just don't get it. I don't get the anarchist who then turns around and follows all of the social rules. I don't get it. And so I'm getting that from him. And I lost it. So here we go. Here's where I lost it. I'm like, I don't know what picture package I want. Okay, I can't make that decision in the moment because I'm adding up the money and it comes to, for 3 kids, $102. I have no other choice but to choose this picture package. But I can't because it's $102. And you keep asking me to pick a fucking picture package. So I'll take your fucking picture package. I ripped up that goddamn paper. I threw my phone on the floor. And I grabbed my face and just raked my nails down my cheeks. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't make a decision. This is dumb, right? This is so dumb. But this is where I was. I just wanted to crawl out of my own skin, get into the ground, and be done. It's a little dramatic, yeah. That's where I'm at. None of this is done. There's no door shut. It's slowly getting better. And Wednesday, going to that courthouse and doing what I had to do and sitting in a room with 3 people who despise me and holding it together and doing what I needed to do, holding my ground and asking for justice took a lot of energy. And I feel really good about what I did. But it's not over. And so I guess what I'm saying, it's not about the picture package. As much as that pisses me off. And I'll finish that. So I ripped that thing up. I told him to get his own form and leave me alone about goddamn pictures. If I have to hear about pictures one more time through a text from someone I just need a bit of distance from, I'm going to lose it. I'm not ready for that mundane stuff, and I'm not ready for that. Well, I'm never ready for that ridiculous social pressure. I don't accept it. I turn my back on it. It's not fair. It's not fair to families. It is not fair to families struggling. And if we can't stand up against these cultural norms, or at least alter them a little bit so everyone can just feel a little bit less burdened, even the people who are well off. Okay, these cultural norms, these social accepted behaviors are fine for the privileged, the ones that can fill the stockings and put gifts under the tree and buy all the picture packages in the world. But those little things for people who are struggling are like cliffs. You're looking over the edge of the cliff, and if you don't do it, then you don't love your children, which is completely untrue. And I guess, that's the shit that I get fired up about. And I guess I'm asking you, with all this content that I just put out there, this part 2 that really turned into its own podcast on its own. I guess part 2, let me try to frame all this together. Part 1 was just a snapshot of part of the journey, probably the toughest part. The toughest part of, walking the walk and coming out okay. Part 2 is the aftermath and the reality. It's the reality of fallout and loss and grief and all that. Okay, and the variable, the X and the Y can be different. It doesn't have to be divorce, it doesn't have to be death, it could be all kinds of stuff. It could be a loss of home, loss of a job, miscarriage. You put whatever it is into that that's the variable. What stays relatively steady is the human response to it. And I have got a shit ton of content in my head about, humans in general. And I've had people ask me, what do you think about, these grand questions about humankind? And when I start talking, they start their eyes start opening up really wide and they look at me like I've got 15 heads. Because I got a lot of shit to say about that, and I haven't even touched on that yet. But I'm talking really granular level here. Like, I'm looking at one grain of sand. And that's the human response to grief and, these cultural forces that work against our instinct, but yet are viewed as instinct, mock instinct. And we got a lot of shit stacked up against us. And I think we just need to band together, understand it for what it is, and help each other out. But first you have to recognize it. And I recognize it all too much, I will admit. To a point where I start railing and spiraling, alienating. Yeah. Well, part 2 didn't come out as I imagined, but that's the whole point. Conversations are like, weaving paths, or paths with many options. Choose your own adventure book. I don't know, insert whatever you want there. I gotta get to work. I've got so much to do. I got a concert to put on. I got a wedding to go to. I have coffee to drink first. Okay, I'm gonna leave you there. Thanks for listening to part 2. I'm not gonna do a part 3 because obviously I'm just gonna, I don't know what I'll talk about next. We'll see. It's always interesting. All right. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.